Did you receive a notice on Commonwealth letterhead indicating that you were not to destroy or in any way manipulate any data on your cell phone? You didn't tell Mr. Lally that you had gotten rid of that phone.
I was not asked that, and I didn't tell him that.
Quote, I don't recall saying I was going to get rid of my personal phone to Brian Higgins. I may have said that. You know, there's personal stuff on my phone.
You know what would be a good idea? If I destroy it before I'm ordered to preserve it. Let's do that. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up. It's the Law with Attorney Larry Forman. Folks, today we're going to continue with the testimony of Brian Albert in May and June of 2024, trial number 1. We are halfway through. We're officially entering the second half of Brian Albert's testimony. We're wrapping up the trial. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, and let's go! Now remember, this part is being done outside the presence of the jury because Jackson has some questions for Brian Albert, and Cannoni does not want the jury to hear this yet. She doesn't know if it's enough for the jury to hear, so she was determining whether or not this is enough. It's about his phone is what we're going to be talking about, okay? Buckle up, folks. This is going to be a good one.
You are currently represented by Mr. Henning.
Yes.
Seated behind me. Gentleman in the,
Yes.
in the gray suit, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Without telling me anything you've ever communicated with him, when did you hire him as your lawyer?
I'm not exactly sure of the date.
Give me a time frame. Let's see if we can narrow it down.
2022. I'm just not sure the exact date or even the month.
For the end of 2022?
I'm not sure. I believe prior to some of the other testimony that I gave. So prior to
April of 2022 at the state grand jury?
No, prior to the other testimony.
Okay, that was in June of 2023. That's my question. Did you hire Mr. Henning in 2023 in anticipation of giving testimony in June of 2023?
I'm not sure the exact date. I believe it was.
And that was the federal grand jury, for those of you wondering.
Maybe the end of 22. I'm not sure.
Or did you get a subpoena for the other hearing?
I did.
Okay. Did you hire Mr. Henning after you got that subpoena?
I can't say. I believe so. Right around that time. Yes. I'm just trying to remember the time, and I can't remember it.
So you did not hire. Your Honor, I think that answers the question. You're not represented in 20.
I'm going to see at sidebar about the extent of the inquiry.
Still no jury.
You had received, I want to draw your attention to 2023 now. I'm sorry. Now I'm doing it. The fall of 2022, September of 2022.
Yes.
Did you receive a notice on Commonwealth letterhead indicating that you were not to destroy or in any way manipulate any data on your cell phone? Destroy the phone itself or to manipulate or destroy any data on that cell phone?
I do not remember getting that letter. No.
I'm going to read this for the record, Your Honor, if I may, with the court's permission.
Yes.
Did you receive a letter that said, in essence, not even in essence, it should be quoted as the following, quote, you, Mr. Albert, are hereby notified that the defense in the case of Commonwealth versus Kieran Reed, Norfolk Superior Court, criminal case number 22-117, has filed a motion pursuant to Mass R. Crim P. 17 for the production of any cell phones that you used between January 28, 2022 and February 28, 2022, and or any data associated with those cell phones, period. The hearing on Ms. Reed's motion will be held on October 3, 2022 at 2 p.m. in courtroom 1 of the Norfolk Superior Court. You may be heard on the motion at that time. You are hereby placed on notice that these cell phones are the subject of pending litigation and you must not alter, delete, destroy, or in any way manipulate any of these electronic data associated with the cell phones at issue, period, end quote. Did you receive a notice from the Commonwealth with that language?
I don't remember receiving that document, no.
Were you told in any other capacity that you were not to get rid of or delete your cell phone? In other words, preserve your phone.
Subsequent to me upgrading my phone, I spoke with the DA's office. So after that, they told me via a phone call that that was the case.
So your testimony is You never received the notice that I just read, but you did talk to the DA and he told you to preserve, you were on notice that you were to preserve your phone.
After.
I know
Right,
you
well-
want to say that, Mr. Albert. My question is, did you have the conversation with Mr. Lally?
Yes.
Okay. When was that conversation, sir?
So I don't have the exact date of the conversation. I'm not sure.
Who did you talk to on the phone exactly? Was it Mr. Lally alone or was it a conference call?
It was a conference call.
Who else was on that conference call?
I believe Steve Nelson and other witnesses in the case were on the conference call.
Can you name those witnesses for us, please?
I believe it was Brian Higgins. I believe Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, and maybe somebody else, but I
whole
can't
posse.
recall.
Who initiated that conference call?
I believe it was somebody in the DA's office, so either Mr. Lally or Steve Nelson, somebody like that.
Did everybody just call into a central number, a conference line?
Yes.
And what exactly did Mr. Lally say to you during the course of that conversation about preserving your phone?
During the conversation, Mr. Lally said that the defense had filed a motion to ask for the phones to be preserved.
And anything else?
And you failed to do that.
That's what I remember him saying.
Did you volunteer that, oh my goodness, I just upgraded my phone last week conveniently. I don't have that phone anymore.
No,
You didn't say that to Mr. Lally?
no,
You just took the information that he gave you and hung up the phone and went about your business.
yes,
Without notifying him that the very phone that he had just ordered you to preserve had just been destroyed days earlier.
no, the phone wasn't destroyed. I upgraded the phone.
The data was destroyed, sir. Correct?
I did not destroy any data on any phone.
Mr. Albert,
I upgraded my phone.
when you upgrade a phone, you know that the phone is set back to factory reset before your new phone is handed to you, correct? Happens every time.
I don't know that.
So if you have personal
Yes,
texts
you do.
with your doctor, personal communications with Mr. Henning, your lawyer, you're just gonna hand that to a pimply-faced kid at Best Buy and say, here's my phone? You know that data is destroyed when you upgrade your phone, right?
I think some things are come over across contacts, things like that, so I don't know that for sure.
You can back up your data, sir, but the phone data is destroyed for all purposes. It's factory reset, correct?
I don't know that.
How long have you had a phone? That's an iPhone.
Years,
This
How many
guy.
times have you upgraded your iPhone?
multiple times.
Every single time you upgraded. You know that the phone prior, the data's destroyed on it, correct?
Usually my contacts come over and my photos come over. So
Sir, that's a backup.
no, I don't think I have that on backup, but okay.
Irrespective, you didn't tell Mr. Lally that you had gotten rid of that phone.
I was not asked that, and I didn't tell him that.
I see. You felt like if you
Oh,
weren't asked that,
so because you weren't asked that, that's not important. Oh, yeah, that phone you need me to turn over, Lally? Yeah, I destroyed it. Should I tell him? No, not important. The implication is, of course, that he had the phone, the original phone, and then he got the notification from Lally, and he's like, I gotta get rid of my phone. And so he upgrades his phone, and all the data is destroyed. How convenient.
you didn't need to volunteer it, even though the conference call was specifically about preserving your phone pursuant to a judge's order, correct?
What was the question?
You didn't offer to Mr. Lally that you had gotten rid of the very phone that he was telling you had to be preserved due to a judge's order.
I did not.
And you didn't seek any advice from, I'm not asking you for the communications, you did not seek any advice from counsel at that time for those purposes.
I don't believe I did, no.
Because at that time, he didn't think he was in trouble because Proctor is our friend. He's botching the investigation on our behalf. He's pinning everything on the girl, right, Karen Reed, to use their own words in their own text messages. Everything is covered. He only hired a lawyer when he realized the FBI is sniffing around. Very important, very telling. Even the DA, Morrissey, is like, hey, don't get rid of your phone. Nah, I don't need a lawyer. These are my friends. Oh, yeah.
At some point, you indicated, Mr. Albert, at another proceeding, under oath, in relation to a conversation that you had with Brian Higgins about your phone. Quote, I don't recall saying I was going to get rid of my personal phone to Brian Higgins. I may have said that, you know, there's personal stuff on my phone. But I don't recall saying that to him, but I don't know. We had multiple conversations about things. You remember saying that under oath at another hearing?
Yes.
You literally admitted at that hearing there's personal, private data on that phone. Hence, you got rid of it, right?
No.
You certainly wouldn't allow some kid at the AT&T store to have your personal, private data. You're a cop.
No, I assume he doesn't have it
Why would you assume that?
because he took the phone and has it.
And what do you think happens to the data on the phone, sir? Let's just use common sense. What do you honestly think happens to the data on the phone when you turn it in and upgrade your phone?
I'm sure that the data's not there anymore. I'm sure.
It's destroyed, sir, correct?
I don't know that for a fact. I know that some things are transferred back to the new phone.
You just said, you know the data is not there.
Some data, I guess, isn't. Yes.
Your Honor, that's all I have.
All right, Mr. Lally, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I'm going to take a short recess. I want to let this witness, if he chooses to have a few minutes.
All right, we're back with the
All
jury
right,
now.
Mr. Jackson, go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Albert, you were notified by the Commonwealth that on September 23rd, 2022, a judge specifically ordered you to preserve that phone and all its data, the phone ending in 0888. Is that right?
Yeah, at what time are you asking me that I was notified?
That day or the next?
On the 23rd?
On the 23rd or the 24th of September?
No.
Isn't it true that you were provided a letter by the Commonwealth that stated the following? Your Honor, if I may read this.
Yes, there's no objection.
Thank you. Quote, you are hereby notified that the defense in the case of Commonwealth versus Karen Reed, Norfolk Superior Court criminal case.
And if this feels like deja vu, like, wait a minute, didn't he just ask all those things? Yes, he did, but the jury was not in the room. Now the jury is back in the room, and now the jury gets to hear all of this stuff in trial number 1.
Number 22-117 has filed a motion pursuant to Mass R. Crim P. 17 for the production of any cell phones that you used between January 28, 2022 and February 28, 2022, and or any data associated with those cell phones. The hearing on Ms. Reed's motion will be held on October 3rd, 2022 at 2 p.m. in courtroom 1 of the Norfolk Superior Court. You may be heard on the motion at that time. You are hereby placed on notice that these cell phones are the subject of pending litigation, and you must not alter, delete, destroy, or in any way manipulate any of the electronic data associated with the cell phone at issue. You received, end quote, you received that notice on either the 23rd or the 24th. Is that right?
I did not.
Your Honor, I would pose a stipulation. I spoke with counsel off the record, if I may.
You both have a stipulation that I haven't seen?
We just determined I'm happy to approach it.
Why don't we approach quickly?
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
I would offer the following stipulation that on either September 23rd or September 24th, the Commonwealth sent a letter on Commonwealth letterhead to Mr. Albert's attention, stating exactly what was just read into the record pursuant to the court order dated September 23rd, 2022.
Okay. All right, next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Isn't it true that you were, in fact, ordered to preserve your cell phone by the Commonwealth?
At some point, I was made aware of that, yes.
All right, let's just get to the brass tacks. Where's your phone?
My phone was upgraded and traded in for a new phone.
Your phone was upgraded and traded in for a new phone.
Yes.
Okay. Another way to say that is you traded your phone in and got rid of it, correct?
I traded my phone and upgraded it, yes.
When did you get rid of your phone ending in 0888?
I upgraded my phone in September, third week of September, maybe around 22nd.
The 22nd of September.
Oh, how convenient! 1 day! 24 hours or less before a judge signs an order for you to preserve your phone. You know what would be a good idea? If I destroy it before I'm ordered to preserve it. Let's do that. And how does he remember the date? September 20. I don't remember what I did yesterday. My suspicion is they were probably tipped off by somebody from the government letting them know, like, hey, there's going to be an order signed tomorrow. The defense filed a motion to preserve. The judge is going to grant it tomorrow. If I were you, I would upgrade your phone ASAP. No time to lose. If I were you. Not telling you to do anything. Bri. But I'm just saying, if I were you, might be a good idea to upgrade the phone over the next hour. Roger that, Chief Morrissey.
I believe so. I can't be sure the exact date.
So, according to you, you got rid of the phone that was the subject of a court order preservation the day before it was ordered preserved.
What are the odds?
Right?
Rephrase the question, please?
This order was just stipulated. This order is dated September 23rd, 2022. It was just stipulated that on the 23rd or 24th, you were then sent a notice to preserve the phone. And your testimony is on the 22nd, the day before this all happened, you upgraded your phone and got rid of it in total, correct?
I upgraded my phone on and around the 22nd, yes.
And you knew that all of the data on that phone would be factory reset and destroyed.
Objection.
Do you know that, sir?
I do not know that.
How many times have you upgraded your phone in your iPhone?
I'm not sure. 4 or 5 times, maybe.
You're aware that when you turn a phone in and you upgrade it, the phone that you turn in, that data is factory reset, meaning it's gone. It's destroyed off of that device, correct?
Well, I think some data transfers and some doesn't.
We're not talking about a backup. I'm talking about the physical phone. That physical phone becomes a brick when you turn it in, correct?
Correct that it becomes a brick? I don't know.
It becomes effectively a brick. There is no data left on the phone. I'm not talking
Have you never heard the term bricking a phone? Like, you know when you try to jailbreak it and you accidentally screw something up and it turns into a brick because it's completely useless as a phone? It is essentially a brick. You might as well use it in building a house because that's all it's good for. Have you never heard that term?
I'm talking about backup data onto a cloud. I'm talking about that phone.
So the old phone, yes.
Yeah, it's just everything on it's destroyed, correct?
Right, although some of the data transfers to your new phone.
And you're aware that the very data that you were ordered to preserve would have been destroyed, according to you, the day before, correct?
Rephrase your question or ask me a question.
Are you claiming that you got rid of your phone on the 22nd? You
I
upgraded
upgraded my phone around that. I'm not sure if that's the exact date, but yes.
So it could have been after the 22nd.
I don't think it was after the 22nd.
Could have been the 24th?
No,
Could have been the 25th?
no.
So you're absolutely sure that you could not have upgraded your phone and gotten rid of it any time after the 23rd when this judge ordered that it be preserved?
No.
Because you know that if you got rid of that phone after you had been notified that you were ordered by a court to preserve it, you'd be committing a felony.
Objection, Your Honor.
It's true.
Sustained.
So you now claim that you got rid of the phone on September 22nd, 2022. Hours before you were ordered to preserve it. That's your testimony, correct?
Yes.
Is that just a coincidence?
September 4th was my birthday. The phone was broken and failing. I had planned on getting a new phone, and that just happened to be the day that I got it.
Happy birthday. Was that a coincidence?
Objection.
Sustained.
You were asked at another hearing in June of 2023 that exact question, correct? Whether it was a coincidence. You remember that?
I don't.
You recall being asked,
Impeachment.
quote, so it's just a coincidence that within minutes hours, or days.
Objection, Your Honor.
Let's hear the question first.
Within minutes, hours, or days of you trading in your phone, that phone you had in January of 2022, that you were ordered to preserve it? Answer, yes. Question, that's a coincidence? Answer, yes.
Objection. Move to strike.
I'll let that stand.
That was your testimony, wasn't it?
Yes,
And that's what you're saying today to these jurors. Just
Yeah.
a coincidence.
yes.
Did you and Brian Higgins agree with each other that you were both going to get rid of your phones?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
That's a good question.
No.
You testified at the other hearing in June of 2022, quote, I don't recall
23.
saying that I was going to get rid of my personal phone to Brian Higgins. I may have said that. You know, there's personal stuff on my personal phone, but I don't recall saying that to him, but I don't know. We had multiple conversations about things, end quote. You remember testifying to that?
Yes.
So you're not ruling out the fact that you may have told Brian Higgins that you intended to get rid of your phone, correct?
No.
You're not ruling out the fact that Brian Higgins may have told you that he intended to get rid of his phone.
No, I don't remember him saying that to me.
Your testimony was, quote, I know there were conversations about the phones. I just can't say if he was going to get rid of his phone or not, end quote. You testified to that, didn't you?
Yeah, I have no idea what he was going to do.
I'm asking, are those your words? Did you testify to that under oath?
Yes, although I don't know the context of the time that they were asking that question.
June of 2020.
No, not the date of the hearing, but when they were asking if and when that conversation took place.
Does it really matter
Yeah.
when it took place?
I think so, yes.
Well, you talked to Brian Higgins about getting rid of your phones. When do you think you had that conversation?
I don't think I talked to Brian Higgins about getting rid of my phones.
I don't
just
think
said.
I talked to Brian Higgins about. You either did or you did not. You lying sack of.
You can't rule out the fact that you had conversations with Brian Higgins about your phones and possibly getting rid of your phones. Right?
No, I don't think that's what I said.
You two discussed the fact that you both wanted to get rid of your phones.
I don't remember having that conversation with Brian Higgins at all.
Your testimony was, quote, I know there were conversations about the phones, sir. Correct?
Exactly.
Correct that that's what you're
So if you're having conversations with Brian Higgins about the phones, what the heck were you talking about?
I don't know the timing of when they asked when those conversations were.
Mr. Albert,
So
I'm leaving it open to you. I don't care when it was. I'm asking you, have you ever had a conversation with Brian Higgins about your phones, respectively?
we may have, I can't remember that conversation specifically.
Of
Then
course
why,
not.
in June of 2023, did you testify, I know there were conversations about the phones with Brian Higgins, end quote.
I'm not sure of the context of that.
Now you just can't remember.
No, I don't think I could remember during that testimony either. I think if you read the whole thing, I think I said I'm not sure, I don't remember.
Your quote was, I know there were conversations about the phones. I just can't say if he said he was going to get rid of his phone or not, end
Right.
quote.
Right.
Does that help refresh your recollection?
Yes.
So now as you sit here and you answer my question, did you and Brian Higgins have a conversation about your phones?
I don't remember having that conversation with Brian Higgins.
All right, folks, this is a great place to stop. We're going to resume with the next episode of Brian Albert in trial number 1 of the Karen Reed trial in the next video, and I'll see you guys there. Bye, everybody.